All right, whether you play in one quarterback redraft leagues or two or Superflex leagues, we've got our top 12 rankings for you today. We're going to pretty much be wearing our heart on our sleeves. We're going to be showing each other our rankings and then vetting each other, asking each other questions on things that we might not understand or things that we might disagree on. So, Badake, I'm going to go ahead and paste my top 12 into the document now. Okay. And I'm also going to bring it up on the screen so you guys can see it. Badake is now looking at my top 12 for the first time. You guys are also looking at my top 12 with the graphic. Now, you can see I have broken it down into 2 tiers. I'm hoping that we could put that into the graphic.
Yep.
But I'd like you to ask me any questions, things that you might agree on, things that you might disagree on. Feel free to ask me any questions on those.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is, at least the biggest difference in our rankings so far at the moment, is Jalen Hurts. Obviously, I have Jalen Hurts a little bit higher than you. Okay. So, yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, so quarterback 9 finished last year. Okay, so I have him ranked as my quarterback 7. He's a quarterback 9 finished last year. In points per game, he was a quarterback 6. Okay, so if we want, quarterback 6, 7, I don't think it's all that far off. Incredible weapons. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Goddard, Sanders. 10 rushing touchdowns last year, guys. That is not a healthy expectation for this year. To expect him to have 10 rushing touchdowns again. I do expect there to be some regression here for Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be great. He's someone I trust to be a starting quarterback on my team. But I don't think that that's something that we can really, truly rely on. Let's talk about the good and the bad last year, okay? The good is he rushed 700 yards, 10 touchdowns.
Yep.
Wild card, went to the playoffs. Great leader. We've heard nothing but good things about his leadership. However, I am worried because I do think they want to throw the ball more, and I'm not so certain that's going to bring efficiency to this offense. Last year, the entire offense was designed around how can we make sure that Jalen Hurts throws the ball as few times as possible. And it's no disrespect for me. It really isn't. But this team was 28th in pass attempts per game. Jalen Hurts was 22nd in true passer rating this season. In passer rating. If you actually look at true passer rating, which is according to Player Profiler, he's actually 31st in the NFL. And Player Profiler, their true passer rating, it factors out unpressured throwaways and drop passes. So it's a more accurate representation of passer rating. So, I know all the weapons are around him, but now teams have had an entire year worth of film on Jalen Hurts. You would expect now there to be better game plans around his weaknesses from defenses. The same thing. It's not me disrespecting Jalen. This is kind of what happens. Think about what happened to Lamar Jackson. In 2019, he was the quarterback 1. The next year, he struggled. Why did he struggle? Because there was a very specific game plan around Lamar Jackson. Now, the next year after that, he then developed in areas that he needed to develop. Let's see if Jalen Hurts has done that. But for me, you have an entire year now of how Jalen Hurts won. A.J. Brown is there. I know that's going to help. But he's not someone that I feel comfortable with, over the other guys that are on the board. So I understand, a lot of people are going to have Jalen Hurts in their top 3. I just couldn't do that. Not with what he's done as a passer. And if they are truly wanting to become a more pass-heavy team, I'm not so certain that really suits Jalen Hurts' skill set. So that's what worries me.
Okay.
But again, still have quarterback 7, quarterback 6 in points per game last year.
Yeah.
So.
He's still up there, no doubt about it. So Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, I think that's pretty fair. Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. I guess Trey Lance. Talk to us about Trey Lance. Obviously, he's coming into his first year.
Sure.
With all these weapons around him, you have him at number 9. Tier 2.
I do have him at number 9. Yeah. I think, to be honest, I'll try and link it in the post editing, but I think the best thing would be the breakout video that we just released for people to watch. I literally go into like 5 to 10 minutes talk about him
breaking
nonstop.
It down. Yeah, no doubt.
But I think essentially I love the weapons around him. In his 2 starts last year, he had 12 rushing attempts, and I don't think that's realistic, but I think 8 to 10 is. We're talking about a quarterback in college. His last year starting in college, He rushed for 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground. So this is a quarterback that I think is going to bring a new dimension to the 49ers. And again, teams don't have film on him yet. You know, teams are going to, just like Jalen Hurts last year, they're going to be trying to catch up. Oh my, like, how do we stop this guy? And I think it's going to really benefit him year one. Right. So love the weapons around him. Love the rushing upside. I think we're going to see a real breakout for him.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's pretty even. I think we're off by like one or two spots in some of these guys.
I'm assuming you don't have Patrick Mahomes number 2. I don't think a lot of people do. So I'll just talk about that real quick. Mm-hmm. I understand Tyreek is gone. I went and looked at every game that Mahomes has played without Tyreek. Okay. And I can now bring it up on the screen for you. So all these games were in 2019. And week 2, 39 fantasy points. Week 3, 32 fantasy points. Week 4, 18. Week 5, 20. So from weeks 2 to 5, Patrick Mahomes was averaging 27.75 fantasy points without Tyreek Hill. All right. I mean, the week before this, week 1, Tyreek only got 2 targets and he left the game early. He only played about 10% of the snaps.
Yeah.
And Mahomes put up, another 35 points. So I didn't add that into this because I want it to be as fair as possible. But from weeks 2 to 5, he was a quarterback too. Yeah. So this is a quarterback who, yes, benefits from Tyreek Hill, but it also doesn't necessarily, from what we've seen, it doesn't mean that he's not able to be an elite quarterback. And you look at the wide receivers that were behind Travis Kelce and Tyreek in 2019, this is what he was working with. He had Kelce, he had Sammy Watkins, DeAnthony Thomas, Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, McCole Hardman, right? A rookie McCole Hardman. Now in 2022, this is actually a good wide receiver room. It really is. You got Kelce, you got Juju, Sky Moore, MVS to stretch the field, McCole to stretch the field. I think the Chiefs did a much better job at surrounding Mahomes with a good, not elite, a good wide receiver core than people might realize. This is nowhere near as bad as Green Bay is at this point. And I still think that Mahomes is the most talented quarterback in the league. So I'm happy to have him as my quarterback too. Yeah. I know a lot of people are going to have Herbert there. And I'm not upset if people have Herbert there.
Yeah. No, I definitely get it. I have Patrick Mahomes in a different spot, and I can tell you why. Just honestly, it's not that much of a difference, to be honest. Like, all these guys can finish, like, can be interchangeable in that top 5, top 6. They can just place him.
Well,
place him and put him where you
let me explain my tiers real quick, because I hope we're able to put it in the graphic. But essentially, my tier 1 guys, all these tier 1 quarterbacks, these are all quarterbacks that I believe can finish as the quarterback 1. Okay? So you look at Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Murray, Jackson. All of these guys, I believe it's within the realm of possibilities that they can have a season that could make them the quarterback 1 in fantasy. Okay. So these are guys where I'm not a big drafted quarterback early, so I probably won't have much Allen, Mahomes, or Herbert. But guys like Murray and Jackson feel like really ideal targets for me in one quarterback leagues because 6th round, 7th round, I feel like I can get someone who might finish as the quarterback 1 there. And then these tier 2 guys, all these tier 2 guys they're guys that I think can finish top 5, and I'm comfortable to have them as my starter. So, I don't know if we're going to put it on the graphic or not. I had Aaron Rodgers at 13. This, again, just explains why in one quarterback leagues, you really do not need to take Josh Allen in the 2nd round.
Yes.
You shouldn't be taking Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd or Justin Herbert in the 3rd. This is one of the best years ever to wait on quarterback. We were in a redraft mock yesterday, Badake. I got Russell Wilson in the 12th round.
Crazy.
In a one quarterback mock. So
it is.
And,
crazy.
that was all with real people. So anyway, all that being said, I just feel like this is one of the best years to wait on quarterbacks. So yeah, no questions before we go to yours? No other questions?
No other questions. I think it feels really confident. I think this is it feels normal here. Just you gotta put your guy and get your guy where you want to put him. And I think this is what it feels like. I think all of our rankings, our quarterback rankings, are very similar. Obviously, just in different 1 or 2 different spots. That's all right.
Let's have a look at yours then. We'll put your quarterback rankings on the screen. Sheesh, man! You said we're close in our rankings. You have Patrick Mahomes at 6.
I'm right there with you with the tiers. Like with that tier 1, he's just a guy that I believe he can finish in the top in the number one quarterback. And I'll tell you why. Obviously, you're asking about it. Everything you said is correct. I went to go look at what happens without Tyreek Hill. I looked at what was it, 2019? It was weeks 2 to 5. He had some of his best weeks. I was like, damn, without Tyreek, and I was like, shit. Well, that's not the case. What it really went down to, and you're right, this is a better, not an elite wide receiver room, but a better wide receiver room, like amongst all like different levels of wide receiver 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. So they add Juju, they add Sky, and you hope that these guys can just be there and fit in. But I think what really came down to me is that there's going to be growing pains, just like any other team. Patrick Mahomes is elite. Juju, we hope he can be that guy. Sky Moore, we hope he can be that guy. But there's just purely, it comes down to growing pains. And there's no doubt he can finish a number one quarterback, a top 3 quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. But they're going to struggle. It's going to be really, really hard for Patrick Mahomes and Juju and Sky Moore to just be like, hey, you know what? We clicked. Just like that, I
can understand where you're coming from, but I think there's this narrative being formed that, man, there's going to be such a struggle, transition period.
It's not even like a struggle where like he's finished outside the top 10, outside the top 12. It's like, hey, he's struggling where he's dropping down a couple spots.
I understand. What I'm trying to say, though, is there's this narrative being formed that, hey, it's going to be like he's going to struggle for a little bit for there to be chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Travis Kelce is still on the team.
For sure. I'm not saying he's not, but like I think that gives more people more defenses to be like, okay, well, you have Juju, we have to worry about him. We have Sky, we have to worry about him. But like, let's focus on Travis. Let's eliminate Travis, which it was hard because Tyreek was a speedster. He was the guy that's like, cool, Travis is in the flat. No worries. Tyreek is always going to burn you, my guy. And Patrick Mahomes easily has the arm for that, where I'm not saying Juju or Sky can't do that. I'm just saying, like, it's just not as easy as it was before.
We did see it, and just to combat that, we saw a huge transition in Patrick Mahomes' game last year. A lot of people knew how to defend him over the top. Mm-hmm. And you saw that second half run for the Chiefs. We saw Patrick Mahomes. He was so used to getting whatever he wanted. Now he had to use his IQ. He had to take what was available. And I think you're going to see him really thrive because he was able to do that with the weapons that were there. But he still got field stretchers. You still have MVS. You still have McCole Hardman. So I think 6, that is, so why is Lamar Jackson ahead of Patrick Mahomes then if he just lost Hollywood Brown?
It's just because of the pure rushing upside. And Patrick Mahomes has taken a step back in that area. Not saying that he doesn't rush at all, but Lamar Jackson, the past 2-3 years, he's led the quarterback room in rushing yards, amongst quarterbacks. And I think that just feels comfortable. Yeah, he loses Hollywood Brown, but now he can unleash, Rashad Bateman. And Mark Andrews is still there, just like Patrick Mahomes. The same thing. I think that's why they're back-to-back. It's really close. Sure. And Kyler Murray is one step higher is purely because his team is more solidified. The talent there now with Hollywood, Zach Ertz, and then still DeAndre Hopkins is still there. He's just suspended. So those are the reasons why, like, I have in those orders: rushing upside, the team, and then what I believe is the chemistry that each one of these quarterbacks could struggle with. Because Kyler Murray, you expect him to immediately click with Hollywood, but there's going to be a struggle. I think. They could come in. It takes a couple 2 or 3 games to get a rhythm. Lamar Jackson, damn, Hollywood's no longer there, but it's all good because he had chemistry with Rashad and Mark Andrews. Patrick Mahomes needs to bring chemistry, build chemistry with 2 players now. So that's really
just on Kyler Murray, by the way, 1 year removed from a quarterback 2 finish. Quarterback 4 in points per game last year. So I'm all aboard Kyler Murray. Kyler and Lamar feel like, based off of current ADP, they feel like the best quarterbacks being drafted.
And you know how I feel about Kyler, Cockroach himself. I'm still putting him up there. I respect him.
I get it.
Hate the way he runs.
I get it. I still think there's good weapons around Mahomes, and that division is, you want a quarterback in that division.
Yeah, we always said that. Yep.
And he's still the most talented quarterback in the NFL. If we're looking at talent, I really do believe he is still the most talented guy.
I hear you.
As an NFL quarterback. Okay, so you keep doing these things where you're with your lists, where you have this player or this player. The 12 spot, I need one player. Is it Kirk Cousins or is it Trey Lance? You don't get to choose.
No, I know.
okay?
I know. And I always put it at the end. I am going to do Kirk Cousins, and
Okay.
I want to put Trey Lance there, but I want to switch it up. I do
Okay.
believe in Kirk Cousins. The past 2 years he's been a top 12 quarterback. Last year he was a quarterback 11. The year before that, quarterback 11. He's a decent quarterback. He's not amazing. He does. Obviously, when you play and you draft, you want to draft for upside. All these guys that have rushing upside, all these guys that have really tremendous weapons on their team. Kirk Cousins, yeah, he's just been decent. He's been a top 12 quarterback finish. And I think we should put some respect on his name. He's averaging 18 fantasy points per game.
Sure.
This past year, he missed one game. If you just add that one game, if he just averaged that 18 points, he finished top 10, QB 9. I know that's not amazing. That's not crazy. But Kirk Cousins has a really good team around him. Dalvin, JJ, Thielen, Irv Smith is supposed to be coming back, and everyone loves Irv Smith. If you're an Irv Smith truther, for sure, I get it. Trey Lance is not in my top 12. And, hey, maybe he can have a Jalen Hurts season. Maybe
Trey Lance isn't in a lot of people's top 12. He really isn't. I mean, most people have him
especially in a
around
redraft
quarterback
league.
14, 15. I get it.
I think there's two different ways you can kind of approach this. You go with decent, comfortable guys that's going to get you minimum points every week, or guy with high upside that can super high upside on the rushing. Whereas they can get you 12 points, or they can get you 35 points, and that I feel like is where Trey Lance is for me right now. But hey, maybe
that's why I find it hard. If we're getting for example, I'm in round 13 of a redraft league, and Trey Lance, Kirk Cousins on the board.
Oh, I mean that's for sure. That's hard, and I think
why not?
Why not go with the upside?
Trey Lance and the upside of what he could do.
Agreed.
With Kirk Cousins, his upside. What is his best case scenario? It's a top 12 finish, which is good. Quarterback 12, quarterback 11. So there is reliability there. Yeah, I think Kirk is definitely being underrated, but I still would have Aaron Rodgers over him. Let's talk about Joe Burrow quickly, because I think some people want to take the leap. They want to put him in their top 5 this year. I'm surprised that you didn't have him in your top 5, but I'm glad we can agree there. I have him 10, you have him 9. I just wanted to say quickly, maybe just speak on behalf of both of us. You can say if you disagree with anything that I'm saying or add any input. So Burrow last year was absolutely fantastic. Really. I mean, according to PFF, I think he was, if not the best quarterback last year, one of the top 3 quarterbacks last year.
Correct.
34 touchdowns in the regular season, led his team to a Super Bowl. No one can take that breakaway year from him. No one. However, all that being said, he had literally one of the best seasons of anyone. Okay? Hit an upside there. All that being said, he only finished as the quarterback 8. And if we look at points per game, he was a quarterback 10. Okay?
Yeah.
So Jamar Chase and T. Higgins definitely give him great weekly upside. And this is someone that, again, I all these guys in this list I think could finish top 5. But, he's not giving you anything on the ground. Someone who's averaging 7 rushing yards per game. So for me, it was really hard for me to put him over some of these other players who I thought had a little bit more upside. I don't know if you have anything to add there.
No, I completely agree. And I think maybe that injury that he had was a blessing in disguise, because he used to run a lot in college. He used to be a guy that can, not a lot, he used to be a threat with his legs at least. He would get that extra first down, or he will fight for that. And maybe after that injury, he realized, let me get some weapons. And maybe that's why Jamar Chase was a big focus on this draft. But I completely agree with everything you said. I do believe he can sneak his way into the top 5. But yeah, I mean, one of the best years in the quarterback and only top 8. I mean, why is that? Why was that? I mean, 4,600 passing yards, 34 touchdowns. Yeah. We're gonna see some either regression or another step in Joe Burrow, and that's why he's just in that middle of the pack there. Kind of feels
for me, his upside is again like a top five guy. But this is why I said it on our Dynasty stream the other day. I don't know that Joe Burrow has a true quarterback 1 finish in him. I think he's going to have multiple years of a top 5 player, but I don't know that he has that quarterback. There's always going to be someone who enters the league who has that rushing upside, who has those weapons around him. So Burrow, I think, is a really solid choice. I'm not so certain about his ADP though. His ADP feels so high to me. In one of our other drafts, we saw Joe Burrow go in the 6th round, and we're seeing Aaron Rodgers in the 12th.
Yeah. I hear
That's
you.
why this tier 2 is so difficult, because I'm Again, draft quarterbacks late this year. There are so many good starting quarterbacks this year.
There is. I think I guess one thing to finish on Joe Burrow that I wanted to say is that I think he does have the projection and the way that he's going to lead, like I guess build his career in the NFL is going to be the Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Brady, in my opinion. I don't think Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers finished, top 12 in fantasy or whatever they were in their first year or second year. But I do believe as he gets older and as he gets wiser, he will. I mean, Tom Brady, 45, my guy finished top 3. I think
doesn't mean that Joe Burrow's going to play.
No, I know. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying like the mental. I think he's so smart, and I think he's so good as a football player. I think that's how it would make him finish as a top 5, even QB1.
I agree, top 5.
Yeah.
I just don't know quarterback 1, but we might agree to disagree on that one. We'll see. It's possible.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our top 12. You can let us know in the comments below if you disagree with anything, if you don't like where we have certain players. That's fine. Let us know in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.